It sounds like Donald Trump played a key role here in getting these two holdouts over the finish line. At least that's the story as Keith Self tells it. He said he had multiple conversations with the president-elect today, and that was involved, if not pivotal, in getting him to a yes. Ralph Norman has yet to tell his side of the story, although I'm anxious to see him walk down the hallway behind me here in the next few minutes. I talked to Dusty Johnson, who was in that room where these conversations happened, and he said, you know, sort of the main point here was just trying to make sure that everyone was on the same page and that Republicans understand that they do have the same goals. Now, for both Norman and Self, the top of that list of goals is sort of structural, making sure voices like theirs, particularly in the case of Self, fairly junior members, can be heard and considered, and the work around cutting spending can be brought to the forefront. Obviously, that's a big priority of the president-elect as well, with that DOGE commission involving Elon Musk. But Johnson's allies are insistent he gave no specific commitments other than to say, yes, we're all on the same team, we all have the same goals, and let's get started, Alex.
Okay. I know, Garrett, I see you looking out the corner of your eye, and so please do keep an eye. If you get Keith Self, I know you're after him. You're welcome to come back to the camera and do a live interview for us. But let me bring in Denver Riggleman now, because a former congressman and friend of ours. Are you surprised Johnson was able to avoid a prolonged drama? Or did this constitute a drama in your mind, given the length of time at least it took to pass on this first vote?
You know, hey, thanks for having me. I think it's pretty indicative that Donald Trump, owns the party. I was talking to another former member friend of mine, Alex, and he goes, it's a bit messy, right? When you know that the only reason Mike Johnson is up there is because of the president and what's going to happen right over the next 6 to 9 months. Because if you look at the slim majority right now, Alex, I think this is a no room to breathe Congress, because you're probably going to have a Democratic Congress in 26. How are they going to do this, right? I was, when everybody was applauding when they got sworn in, I've been there, Alex, as you know, when that happened, I started to laugh a little bit, because it's almost like they're applauding for their own misery in the torture chamber that's going to be the next 2 years in the House. Because right now, I'm not really that surprised. I knew there were some of the individuals there who like to drink their own bathwater, and they definitely want to vote for what they think their conscience or their ideologues, that we're going to vote that way. But again, taking them in the back room, those were phone calls. You can't take a call on the floor. That's why they went into the that little annex there. And Donald Trump told them, hey, get in line. And that's really what happened today.
Give me a sense, because you have been there, what is this like for members of Congress being sworn in, let's say for the first time? I mean, there's certainly got to be a lot of pride, but a certain amount of trepidation, because they've been elected to do a job, and it may be that Congress will not go along to allow them to make good on the promises they make when they're campaigning.
Alex, you lose your idealistic streak in about 7 minutes.
Wow.
Especially when it's very, very quick. And so when you're going through those first days, you're getting in your committee assignments, you're sort of overwhelmed. You know the importance of the job, but you start to see the people around you, and it really is true. You're like, well, how did they get here? And they might be thinking that about you too, right? But I think what you're seeing now in the 119th is that we have a system that's not ready for the 21st century. There's so much corruption, not just corruption with quid pro quo and pandering, but there's a rot. And I think you're starting to see that with our debt and our deficit. So those members that are sitting there right now is, what do you do with such a slim majority if you're in the GOP? If you're on the Democratic side and you see something good that's happening, are you going to vote with Mike Johnson when he's getting his directions directly from Trump? What is that going to do in their districts in 2026? I think this is going to be one of the most raucous, do-nothing, awful Congresses we've seen in a long time, because I do believe that Trump does run the party, and I think his Article 1 powers, I think they're going to be bowing, to the Article 2 side. There's just a rot that's going on that I don't know how you get out of.
Give me a sense of the answer to the question you posed. If you have a Democrat who sees something good being done on the other side of the aisle, do they vote to support it?
That's I remember I was talking to a couple people in there when I first started. And they're like, you can never support a Democrat no matter what. And you know what happened to me, Alex, because I did on some legislation and, officiated a same-sex wedding. And if you get out of the current now, even 3 Congresses later, I think you're so far out of the current, even on the Democratic side. How do you vote, right? What are you going to do back in your district? Oh, you supported Donald Trump. It's not supporting legislation for the American people. I do think there's got to be a third way at some point, because right now, with such a slim majority, any Democrat that crosses the stream, they could be primaried. Any Republican that crosses the stream is going to be primaried. So now you have this very narrow, slim majority for the GOP. You know, Trump thinks he has a mandate. I don't think he does. I think what you're seeing in Congress right now is complete confusion and really a foundational issue where you have a two-party system so broken with media, with the way that they message. And the fact is you do have maybe the least talented executive appointees ever. And how is that policy going to flow down to the Congress? I mean, I think it's going to be unbelievable to watch, especially the first 6 months.
Donald Trump has touted Mike Johnson's likability. How important is likability? You've heard the phrase, it's better to be loved versus feared, or it's better to be feared versus loved. I'm curious how somebody who's pretty much liked by most members is able to get through the agenda, what the challenges are for that. Does it make it easier?
You know what? I think there's a confusion in terms, Alec. I think liked and malleable got mixed up here. But I do think, yeah, I mean, Mike's very malleable, right? He's still new to the job. He is going to do exactly what Donald Trump says to do for that agenda. But being liked is great. Listen, I know Mike Johnson, and he is a likable human being. Treats people with respect. There's something about him, you know, that you like, you know, when you're around him. And it really is something that can captivate certain types of individuals. For people who are looking at this realistically, his job is to govern, is to push through legislation. But we really have a tough time to separate those powers right now. So I don't think it's likable. I think it's malleability. I think Mike Johnson might want to be one of the most malleable speakers that we've ever had, even though he's also liked.